Hello everyone, Krydax here, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program RP-1. I am loving this series. I played a little bit around with the rocket we were kind of dealing with in the last episode, and I haven't done much. This looks like I've added a lot. I don't really like these torpedo looking things, but basically I just added a LR-43 to the bottom, and that's what we've been using already. I might use a different engine. I'm still not sure. I was kind of looking through what are the different options for the first stage. I mean, I could use one of the big fat RD-107 or 108s. There's this thing, which I'm not entirely certain if it's even competitive with the LR-43. What is this? It weighs more, it has a thrust at sea level that is less, and it has an ISP that's the same, and it uses the same fuels. So I don't really see the purpose of using that right now. You know, maybe a different version would be better, but that just seems like a worse version of the same thing. Rated burn time is a little bit longer, I guess, so there's that. But no, I'll stick with my LR-43 for now. We'll get back into that. Anyway, I colored the fuel tanks so it looks a little more interesting. And what else did I do? I put spin motors on here. Had I done that yet? I can't remember. Because we're planning to spin stabilize this stage, because then it's going to get to the apoapsis and we're going to fire off this little guy. So we need that to be spin stabilized. And this doesn't have any control. So we need to spin before we ditch the fat avionics here. But yeah, how did I color these, by the way? There's the recoloring GUI here. We've already talked about it. And you can save, you can store and load a pattern. So if you're liking kind of how you've made a certain thing look, you can do that. And then this is just the metal stripes version here. Apparently when you change the look, it also removes the recoloring. So we'll store the pattern and then we will load it. Ta-da! And there you go. Yeah, so what else did we do? We've got our fairing on the top here, which I would like to be... Well, I think it's just good the way it is. By the way, we need to rotate 180 degrees here, because MechJab likes to be rotated that way, so we will give it what it wants. And then, what else? The RD-0105, we will have soon. I'm just curious how it gets upgraded. Better thrust, better ISP, and lighter? Wow, that's like all around great upgrade. Sweet. Anyway, we're just gonna stick with this. These vernier things, apparently they work, but they're very, very weak. So in a couple testings, I've discovered that this rocket likes to flip over. So what I'm gonna have to do is put some form of aerodynamicness on this stage, and I don't know exactly how to do that yet. So I'm gonna go with something. Just feels weird to put fins like this. I guess I could do that, but that looks weird too. Though that looks more normal, I think. We just need some sort of aerodynamic stability here. And they probably can be pretty weak here. I bet we could go 0.1 or even less. And we can make them smaller too, I'm guessing. So, yeah, I mean, I'm thinking something like this, without a very big leading edge. You know, just little fin things to give us some aerodynamic stability. I think that'll work. They don't even weigh a whole kilogram, so 73, it cost me 3 delta V, so if this works, that's great. And then here we've got an angled fairing, obviously for connecting the bigger structure. And I forgot the diameter we were using before. I just went ahead and looked, and I remembered we had multiplied by 50%. So we had a diameter of 1.8, so we went to 2.7, I think. Now I have to double check it again. Yeah, 2.7 by 8.25. So we've already tooled, you know, the 2.7 meters, so it'll be a lot cheaper if we stick with that. And then, yeah, so now we need to increase the diameter of this. Base size, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we've got ourselves a little rocket here. I've also determined that I'm better off. I made a hollow cone to put here. And I think that is a better method than the whole boat tail fairing thing. And according to the FAR transonic designer analysis doodad, it does work. And you can go either way. I think I like the method of shoving the engine up into the part rather than the other way, because it feels weird to have a part underneath the engine, even if I've offset them so it doesn't look that way. I did test both at least once, and the engine seemed to be able to thrust either way, but that doesn't mean it always works the way I think it would. So it's possible that one is better than the other for reasons I haven't thought of. And as far as a hollow cone, I'm actually curious how much lighter a hollow cone is. So what if I just changed it to a regular cone? Or maybe a smooth cone. And the top was 2.7 and the bottom is probably like 0.9. And the length is 2.5 meters. And then we offset this. So if I do something like that, it weighs 265 and this weighs 180. Yeah, that's a pretty big difference. But what if I make it like a more regular cone shape? That's pretty similar actually. So it turns out a hollow cone doesn't save you as much as I thought it did. I mean, it's 40 kilograms for the same shape, right? Uh, 220, yeah. I mean, that's basically a perfect cone. So that's exactly the same shape, and it's 32 kilograms heavier. So a hollow cone is worth your time, but it's not, physics-wise, it's not accurate, right? Most of the weight is in the strength of the part, which is simulated accurately here. So, anyway. But yeah, you can see, like, if I were to offset this down here, you know, we have all this wonky shape on this green line. Or more accurately, if I just did that, you can see we have a bad shape here. So, I like this cone design. And then we will need some wings. I never know where to put these, but I want it to have roll attitude potential. And it can't roll if it's just a giant caterpillar like this. So, I don't know if I like the shape of the smooth cone though. I kind of do like the more boat tail shape better. I guess we could have a more if we're willing to spend another part, what we could do is a hollow cylinder. And let me compare here yet again. Cylinder here versus hollow cylinder. And outer 2.8. 227, sorry. And then length 750. 98 versus 116. Yeah, it is lighter. And then I could do that. Have the angle a little better. I don't feel good about the part intersecting with the fuel tank. That feels a bit like cheating to me. I know I technically could. There's nothing stopping me from doing it, but that feels very cheaty. So I'm not gonna do that. But apparently this isn't working. There we go. That is crazy to me that far can tell. I mean, you've got the hollow cone thing going on, and far can tell that there's a gap there. It's so nuts. I don't know how it does it. That would also be a way for me to seal it a little bit better. Yeah, okay. Okay, so that is breaking the plane a little bit, so it has to be down here. It is kind of annoying when you make this longer, you have to reshift this. Though, I should note that the part itself does stick up that little, I don't know what you call that. Those, I guess they're just fuel pipes. Those do stick up into the fuel tank. So that's acceptable. So overall, this is pretty, oops. Didn't mean to do that. Overall, this is pretty good. You want the fuel pumps to stick up a little bit in there. Okay. Anyway, so that's that. Fin-wise, I think I want something very small and sleek looking. And thin. So like 0.05. Maybe even a little thinner at the tip, 0.03. And then we're gonna remove the trailing edge because I would like to do control surfaces. Oh, and those need thickness to be 5 to 3. Is that right? It doesn't look right. I think they're rotated wrong. There we go. Something still doesn't look right. Huh. It's like it's rotated like by 1 degree. Do you see that? There's like the tiniest gap, and when you look at it, the angle looks wrong. It's really weird. Huh. That looks better. The other option would just be an all-moving. How much do those cost? And then the whole thing just moves. $14 kilograms. What about if I make it the same overall size as these ones? Do they weigh more? No, they weigh about the same amount. I'm curious what they look like, though, on the actual craft. So I'm gonna keep those down there just so we can have them in case I want them, and let's simulate this. Oh, and we need a launch rail of some sort. So, where's that bad boy? Modular launch pads. Rail. Of course it doesn't find it. Why would it find it? It's only like the thing has rail in the title. Launch rail 2 is what I've been using. Are we ready for a launch rail 3? Sure. And then... well, let me put this on there. There we go. Okay, let's test this bad boy. We need to decouple or turn off. Disable staging. Stage that engine correctly. We don't have enough delta V, I'm aware of that. We're gonna still have to min-max this rocket a little bit, which I am excited to do somehow. I don't know how we're gonna do it yet. But first I just want to look at these rudder things. Why can't I control the ship? Do I have electric charge? Controllable 56 ton. Oh. Do I weigh too much? Does it count the weight of the modular launch pad stuff into the controllable mass while I'm attached to it? I wonder if it does. Yeah, we weigh 59 tons. Okay. I need to make this fuel tank a little bit shorter, I think. Yeah, I mean, what's our burn time here? 135 seconds is our rated burn time. We're way over that anyway. So. I forgot to make it shorter after I made the diameter bigger. Okay, so that's basically our max burn time right there. That gets us well under the 56 ton limit. The avionics, by the way, is just a copy of what we've been using for our Carpenter Ant series. Alright, this launch rail does make the rocket look a little puny. Maybe I should use the smaller launch rail. Anyway. It's still not letting me control WASD to move these, which is a bit weird. I guess we have no probe control? Do we not have an antenna? I don't think we have an antenna. The Communotron works, but only when it's extended, and I just realized I think we took the antenna out of this one and the other one. So this needs a very, very basic antenna in it. let's look at our total kilograms here. 51,264. Oh yeah, going to tech level 2 actually makes your antenna heavier. So using these old-fashioned tech level 1 antennae, or even just tech level 0, should be fine. Okay. That should be plenty to get it into space, where then the Communotron will take over. Alright. Design, simulate, design, simulate, design, simulate. This is the way. Okay, now we have control. Perfect. Now we can see these do something. Okay, yeah, those do way too much. We want those to have a max deploy. I like the dynamic deflection. Control deflect. Yeah, we need it to be like 1.5 degrees there. Well, maybe a smidge more than that, but just a tiny bit. This looks more, these ones look more realistic though. This thing is gonna have all sorts of attitude control. Oh my gosh, between that and the gimbal, we can do loop-de-loops in this thing. Ah! Nice. Fireworks are fun once in a while. All right, well, back to actually designing real rockets. Okay, so which one do I want to use? Do I want to use these guys? Do I want to use these guys? Let's... These are doing a weird glitchy thing. I don't... You guys can see that, I assume. There's like this weird line here. I don't know why these are bigger than they're meant to be. Doesn't seem like that fixes anything. Huh. I don't really know. Alright, let's stick with these. We are going to fix the thickness to be 4 and 2. So they'll be thin boys. Ooh, could I have little canard pointers? I almost like this. It's kind of weird, but I kind of like it. I don't know why. Like, this is way more aerodynamic looking, but for whatever reason I'm digging this vibe, so we're going with it. We're going with it. And recoloring GUI? Yeah. Green paint? Blue? We could... Oh! Ooh. Ooh. Ooh, I kind of like the orange. These colors even come into play? I don't think they do. Okay, that's for that tip. And what about the leading edge? Leading edge, I could do white. Trailing edge. White. I guess we need white on the section then as well. Oh. I'm gonna make that a little bigger then so we can see it. Alright. I'm a fan of that. Judge me all you want. I think it's cool. We do need to reduce the deflection though. To be... Control deflect. We'll go with 2 degrees. And then the mass strength multiplier, we'll go with 0.3. Hopefully they won't break off. Guess we'll find out. Okay, and then we have the problem of not enough delta V. So, like we said in the last episode, we need to be traveling at a stupid fast 10,600 meters a second at 145 kilometers. That is pretty extreme. Where am I gonna get... Do I need a third stage? What I'd really like to do is not add a third stage to the lifter body. I just don't know if it's possible to avoid this. Well, I guess when I say add a third stage, we already have 3 stages because of the solid, but I mean like another liquid booster stage before the spin stabilized solids. But I'm thinking the most efficient method here is going to be actually just some more solids on this stage. Maybe. I'm feeling kind of bad about this jump from 4.7 tons to 49 tons. That doesn't seem right either. Which means it feels like we need a stage between these two. That doesn't sound right. What if... I don't actually know the math on this, so let's test it. Right now it's telling me I'm gonna get 11,518 delta V. What if I made these lighter and added solid rocket boosters that then decouple? That'd be better or worse? Probably worse, right? But what if I cut 8 tons off of this fuel tank? So right now it's 43 tons, so we want to cut it down to... I can't do math. 43 minus 8 is 35. Okay, so notes-wise, what am I looking at here? For this craft, I'm looking at 11,518 delta V. So then we go shorter. So that weighs 35 tons. There we go. 11,259. Yeah, that seems like the play, because then I can add 2 castors with decouplers. I don't know why those are so hard for me to find sometimes. I like these hard points. Alright, that's too much. Alright, now... This is probably the most accurate number of delta V because it says 275, and that's if we were to just do the solid boosters from the beginning. It's a little unfortunate. MacJeb doesn't quite do the calculations correct when you stage it like this. See, it's claiming we get 693 out of them, and that's just wrong. And I don't know why. Or oh, I think it's telling, oh, I understand. Actually, wait, I get it. It's splitting the LR43 delta V into 2 chunks. So 693 plus this. Oh, that's interesting. I never noticed it did that before. Okay, never mind. I don't think it's inaccurate. I think it's just splitting. So it's telling me I'm going to get 700 delta V in that first burn between the two engines, and then once those are popped off, then we're going to get a remaining 3488 out of my LR43. Either way, this is a more efficient launch vehicle for the same delta V, literally one more delta V, but our SLT is much, much higher to begin the launch. So that alone made it more efficient. Now, did it make it cheaper? Probably not. But it did make this more efficient because we'll get to space faster, which means less gravity losses, maybe more drag losses. Though at some point going faster reduces your drag losses because you spend less time under drag. So there's some sort of optimization there that I don't know how to do. And I'm scared to make this tank bigger for the stage 3, the RD-0105, just because of the burn time. I mean, it's already at 4586. How much more can we eke out of that? Oh, we can pretty easily get 5,000 out of it, but then the TWR of that thing is really rough at first. But maybe we can get to 12K here. What if I just added a little bit more solid... Did I just exit out of the mech jeb? Delta V stats? Why did I do that? I need these. I wish... I don't know. I feel like this vertical space is mostly wasted up here. But I don't know if there's anything I can do about that. But like these three lines, like we could have all these numbers in one line, and we don't need a whole line for this radio button. Most of the time. Sometimes you do. Can I edit it? Can I remove the button? Oh, I can. Oh, I can. Interesting. Yeah, I don't need stage delta V to be shown. Oh, but this is what shows in the flight. Oh, I guess I need to make a custom one that shows in the editor and then it show a different one in flight. Okay. Well, I know where to get the cosine losses button if I need it. So generally I do like that radio button to be checked, so that's fine. Okay, how can I get just a few more delta V? Could I slap 2 more of these on here? Is that crazy? I don't think it's crazy. Decoupler. No, too big. Don't think this is 1,000,000% crazy. It's maybe a little crazy. So if we did it that way, let's get our staging correct here. The final, no, that's not right. Okay, hold on. So that stages at the same time that these two decouple. Like that. That stages at the same time that these two fire. Like that. There we go. I mean, that's another 1670 delta V. That feels pretty strong. For only a few hundred more kilograms here. It's definitely worth a try. I'm a bit worried about the residuals. What's the variance? Doesn't tell me here. I think it tells me in here. Variance 3.5 ISP, 5.3% flow, 0% MR. I don't know what MR means. Mean residuals? That doesn't make sense. Because. Let's see, this one has 0.5% MR. Then it says standard deviation right there. I don't know exactly what that means, but basically the important part here is that the 5.3% flow means that I think each tick, or maybe every few ticks, it picks a new number for how much fuel flow is actually coming out of it. It varies constantly. Like if you've ever watched an engine, you can see the actual thrust is not staying at the same number. So the fact that this is spinning will be important for this to not get torqued like crazy. This may still torque like crazy. The center of mass, you know, there's no way for us to get these pointed at the center of mass. So the amount of torque that it's going to generate is quite nuts. If we can just shift even just a little bit closer with fine adjust, that will help too. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, because the less torque, the better. Put them down a little bit. Okay, let's try this. Don't really know if it's gonna work. Okay, our staging is gonna be all sorts of jacked up here. So what's happening? So the final thing is decouple and then that fires. So that's good. The radial decoupler and the middle one, that one and that one. We stage the spin motors right before we decouple that. That's correct. These payload fairings should come off after we ignite the RD-0105. These need to be fairing decoupled when we decouple the RD-0105, which is here. I already put the little fin things on. Okay, I mean, this is all looking pretty kosher. So the only thing we need to fix is the launch rail is too big. I would like number 2. And then I need this part. Let's... I was hoping that this could like side attach. Doesn't really seem like... Oh, there we go. Perfect. Now it seems even more realistic that it could not fall over. Okay, and then... Do I need anything else? I don't know. I'm just gonna save this dang thing. It says we have over 12,000 delta V. According to these. Uh-oh, my staging's not right. There we go. Yeah, 12,666. Ooh. The bad number. Oh no. All right, let's see if this can manage. God, we're already 40 minutes into this episode. Guys, I literally feel like we just started this episode 2 minutes ago. I'm so confused by how that happened. I'm flabber smacked. All right, last stage 2, early shut off stage. I don't even know yet. We're gonna go with 5. 2 and 3 are unguided. It claims it can do this with 1616 to spare. I don't know if I believe it. Let's try. Let's try. Far so good. Some good speed off of these SRBs. I'm also a bit worried about the aerodynamic stability of this upper stage, but we'll see how it goes. Alright, hyperwarp. Okay, we had a little bit of a kick over there, so we might need to increase our booster pitch rate a little bit here. I'm gonna try 0.8 for the next launch. And it's tipping over. It's tipping over. Well, that's no good. Even with RCS on, and we're using the nitrous oxide, by the way, RCS. Still can't quite get itself figured out. Okay. It claims it can still do it with 469 delta V to spare. So I may have overestimated the delta V we needed by a little bit. We might not need these solid rocket boosters at all. Okay, but this is a long burn that we have ahead of us here. We still have 80 more seconds. Seconds. All right, here we go. Here comes a moment of truth. How badly does this work? Not great. It does get a little wonky here. And why is the spin decreasing? I'm not exactly sure why the spin got slower. Is there a physics reason for that? Or is this weird KSP nonsense? I'm not sure. Because if the thrust is perfectly linear, why would that slow your roll? Oh. Wow. I mean, my brain is telling me right now, and it could be 100% wrong, that that's actually accurate because some of the momentum is leaving, the angular momentum is leaving via the fuel that is getting ejected. But surely that's not being simulated, right? So it may be just because the craft is getting lighter. But if it's lighter with the same angular momentum, that should make it spin faster, not slower. I'm not really sure. The important part is that we're gonna fix it by adding a little bit of spin to these motors as well. So it only spins us even faster. I need to make sure it goes in the same direction as the spin motors. So we need to push to the left, like that. Just, yeah. 5 degrees. 5 degrees is probably too much even. That'll probably get us spinning real good. And then the inconsistencies between the two engines, the faster we spin, the more they cancel out. So I'm thinking that might just work. And I'm also thinking that we need to increase the size of these little bad boys. Let's try something like that. Okay. Save and simulate. I hope you guys are enjoying this episode. I've gotten multiple comments from some of you that say you like it. You like the design process. Rather than just me skipping to a finished rocket. So this is what the design process looks like. Anyway, early shutoff was 5? I must have changed my staging around. Is my staging wrong now? Hot stage that, pop the fairings. Pop those fairings. No, the staging looks right. So unguided 2, 3, last stage 1. Really shut off 5. 145 by 65 mil. We're at 0.8 this time for pitch over, so let's try that. Now, if I end up taking the SRBs off, we'll probably need to lower the pitch rate again, but that's a problem for a future simulation. That's future Krydax's problem. Alright. Come in here. That was a little better. Alright. Please stay aerodynamically stable. No! It tried. These verniers are weak sauce. Okay. Let's actually take a glance at the center of lift for this stage. Open. Let's connect you. Okay. I mean, that tells the story right there. So are these not count? Whoa, I did not mean to do that. So do these not count? Is that part of the problem? That might be part of the problem. I think that's what's happening. I think these are occluded from drag somehow. Maybe they're not. Definitely doesn't seem to work right. So what if I put them here? Can I put them on the engine itself? The RD-0105 that you didn't know existed. That looks really janky. I'm not a fan of that. Now, if I put a little doodad on here, because part of the problem, I'm guessing, is actually that this is all bumpy back here. Yeah, see, that's part of the problem. So maybe we just need a another cone here that we then do outer, no, what is it, inner 1.8? There we go. You know, that alone could fix the problem. Because then there's a way less drag on the back end of this beast. Let's get the length. All right, let's get this whole thing correct here. So fine adjust up a smidge. There's not a weird gap. It's always like a pixel that I can never quite get rid of. And then length, we want to be outer. No. Perfect. So I might try that and see what happens. I'm also very curious about how much the stupid spin motors that stick out are adding drag losses. I'm sure it's not very much, but I am curious. Wait, what? Oh, I did this wrong. It needs to be this way. And then I shift this up in. Come on, shift. There you go. Alright, and then you go on top, or well, on bottom of the engine. The interstage fairings are now too small on the... what are they? The extra height needs to go down a little bit. Whoa! No, 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 no. Actually, yeah, that's just about right. Okay. How much do you think it matters that we have tiny little nose cones on these guys? Does it remove 1 meter a second in drag losses? Does it pay for the 20 funds that it's gonna cost us? Those nose cones don't even fit. It's the worst part. Do we have a nose cone that fits? I don't want to make my own nose cone right now. Seems like we do not have a nose cone that fits. This is when I wish you could turn off variance and residuals, because the only way we could ever test this would be if the game produced the same results every time. But the variance of the engines alone is probably more of a difference than these nose cones would provide. So we'll do it for looks. How's that? And we should save, because I've made a few adjustments here. A whole new aerodynamic butt on the RD-0105 stage. And with that aerodynamic butt, we hopefully have no flippage. 1, 5, 2, 3. Click, click. Go. I didn't check staging. I'm just gonna assume it's correct. Just gonna assume it's correct. Alright, fast forward to this point. Alright, let's see if we flip over. We do. We do still flip over. Wonderful. But it looks better. It looks like a bullet. This thing is dope. I'm digging the aesthetics. Bumps into its own fairing. I am digging the aesthetics here, but yeah, that certainly isn't gonna do it. So let's try open, copy you to here. Okay, what is it? 12609. So that's only 5 delta V, even at that size. And we're gonna make these a lot smaller. Whoa. Is this the wrong radius? No, it's just two. But how? This is attached onto the bottom. Yeah, that was weird. Alright, these are a little wonky. I want it to look even. Nope. There? Yeah, that's about right. Alright, let's try that. See if little fins will do the trick. And we're gonna call this a grasshopper. This is a new phase of launch vehicle. The grasshopper. Because it's green, in case you were wondering. And we're still going with the insect theme. I don't know if it's a good theme, but it's the theme we're going with. Alright, I really wish it would save these settings. My kingdom for saving these settings. Oh. Jittery, but... Okay. All systems looking good. Decoupled successfully. And slow down. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? Aerodynamic stability? Oh, it so wants to. What the heck? Oh. The little fins are too weak and too small. Okay, fair enough. They are tiny. And I did reduce their mass strength multiplier to minimum. So, hey, you gotta learn your limits before you can know what your limits are. All right, let's go a little bigger here. And the mass strength multiplier, we're gonna go to 1.1. Okay. I mean, this is just a slowly make them bigger until it works situation. One, 5, 2, 3, with a comma. Engage. Launch. Boom. Fast forward. I'm just gonna let these decouple while I'm in hyperwarp. Fine. No, it's not fine. Damn it. I was like, wait a second, why do I see kerosene in RP-1? It ignited the next engine. We've had that issue before where it double stages when we're hyperwarping. I'm not sure if that is... There is a post 0.2 second delay. I'm not sure if there's a way I can fix it. Maybe if I reduce that delta time, it'll work better. I don't know. Oh, that one didn't screw it up. Okay. Here we go. Please. No. This thing really wants to turn over. All right, I'm gonna go a decent amount bigger. Okay. Open. We're gonna go like all the way out to there. And then this is gonna go a little taller. Okay, that's like a... In fact, that might be too big for the fairings. It is, yes. So we need to be more like these. Still no good. And now they're running into the verniers. Verniers? Vernier? How do you say that? Just realizing I don't actually know. It's the consequence of being someone who reads a lot and learns most of what I know through text. You don't learn how to pronounce things. Alright, I think those are big enough. I mean, why does it want to flip over so bad? There's too much drag on the top, but I don't really think there's much I can do about that. Can I make this any shorter? That's about the best I can do. It could be a little bit stubbier. Like the little point goes too far up. And that could actually be... I like the look of it though, so I want to stick with it. But that could be, you know, that's adding a lot more drag than if it was kind of like that egg shape. Okay. So, 1, 5, 2, 3, engage. Check. Click. Moves forward. This time, maybe Maybe it'll work. All right. 3 seconds. Oh, I also just realized one other issue. We're not hot staging early enough. Let's try. Now, this is kind of a pain, but if we just let RCS, we have to manually turn it on when that's about to stage. But that could fix things as well. But yeah, the hot staging time, I don't know why I forgot to check that. Because that has a spool up time of 1.21 seconds. So what if I go 1.2, or even better, 1.3 here, and we try that. And let's just try that alone. Because that's obviously part of it, is that there's no engine thrust that's even happening when it decouples. So I think it's getting pushed a little bit. And that's starting the initial tip over process. So if we actually hot stage properly here, let the engine spool up. Oh, that's much better. Still flips. I might need RCS to prevent that initial flip. Let's try it with RCS this time. I don't love adding a manual step to the launch process because the odds that I screw it up is pretty high, but that's why we quick save, I guess. Anyway, engage autopilot. The other hard part is this means I'm going to have to remember to reduce my hot stage time. And now there's 2 steps to every launch. Because the 1.3 hot staging is way too much. Well, I guess none of these are hot staged boosters, are they? Yeah, never mind. I don't have to worry about that. Okay, so I'm gonna turn on RCS right now. Oh, it still tips over? No way, dude. Really? Man, that thing has no attitude control. I guess the RCS thrusters are so close to the center of mass. What if I moved them down? How do I do this? The problem is the center of mass is just so low on this this stage. Yeah, these fairings are really bringing up the center of lift. These will get a lot more attitude control if I move them down. But I don't know why they're doing that. Oh, they're attaching to the engine, I think. Okay, so what if we do that, and then it's kind of bad to do it this way though, because then we get oh my gosh, I'm a dummy. Here it is. These weren't deflecting very much at all. That was part of the problem too, because we didn't need very much deflection on the main ones. 8. Okay. The reason I'm going to switch these around is because the way the RCS works, and you guys probably know this, but like it's going to fire in one of the cardinal directions, right? And the way MechJeb works is we're going to be oriented this way. And so if it's trying to tip over, let's say, to the left, then it's going to fire these guys, you know, let's see, that way. The thrust will come out that way, so it'll push the bottom to the right. But if we have them at this 45-degree angle, it's going to fire all 4 of them because 2 of them are pointed at a 45-degree angle towards me, right? And then the other 2 are kind of pointed at a 45-degree angle away, and all 4 of those will fire. So it'll use twice as much fuel to change your attitude if you don't have RCS cardinally aligned, which is worth considering. Yeah, with these deflecting more, we might actually be okay. Interesting. Okay, well that gives me some hope for the grasshopper here. That gives me some hope. All right. I'll be right back. I gotta check something. Okay, sorry about that. 1, 2, 3, 5. No, what? 5, 2, 3. Engage. 1.3. Go, go, go! Meow. Alright. This time with more deflection. I'm really happy I found that. I think that was probably the issue. Oh, no! Damn. Still didn't do it. Wow. That's so interesting. What's the play here? Well, now that these are at a better angle, what if we just kind of go crazy? Let's try that. We just need these things to freaking work. Last stage 1. Unguided. 2, 3, 5. Engage. Spacebar. Boosters. Go crazy. Uh-oh. Collided into structure. Apparently they were sticking out enough that they blew up. Okay. That's not gonna work. That will not do. Maybe that's the part that was sticking out. Seems like they're protected. All right, if this one doesn't do it, I'm gonna pause the recording and I'll just keep doing this for a minute. I didn't think it would take this many tries to get this to not flip over. 2 to 3, 5, 1. And this thing looks also like a tank shell. And then the last part looks like a bullet. It's very cool. Alright, here we go. Oh, it almost made it, but it didn't. Damn. Damn. It might make it with RCS. Let's try that. Because I kind of want a successful simulation. Before we end this episode, that is. Off. Keep going. $40, $30, $20, $10, and then we turn on RCS. And it still just gets caught by the wind. Huh. Guess we need the RCS to be a little more powerful. All right, I'm gonna pause the recording. I'll figure this out. I'll be back. Well, folks, we found the solution. And I hate to say it, but this is just better. I do think FAR has some sort of aerodynamic occlusion penalty situation going on. So like, just these aren't even moving. These are just regular wings. They're just fins. They don't even move, and they're working way better at stabilizing this thing. So. Yeah, I think the problem was that we had fins that were occluded. And I don't know if it counts fins that are partly occluded and then jutting out. Like, obviously we know in real life the airstream would kind of follow the surface and that would actually work decently well, but I don't know if FAR's model is quite advanced enough to like capture all that. So here we are. I will be able to move the RCS if we want to, or I guess I can move the fins to be, I don't know, I guess it doesn't really matter, but yeah, so let's see now how this actually does getting into the orbit that we are desiring. I said I wanted at least a successful simulation before the end of the episode. Let's see if we can get there. So 30 seconds left, 20, 10. I'll go ahead and slow it down. Let's see how the spin to wind goes. Not good. Not good at all. Oh my god. Well, that didn't work. Is this is this an intermediate axis theorem problem? Maybe. So, things prefer to spin around a bigger moment. I don't know if I'm saying this right, or around a smaller moment, but basically, what I'm trying to get at here is that here's a good example. Where is it? Give me that booster. One of these guys. No, you. How big are these, by the way? 10-ton boosters? Just like big boy castors? I know that's totally a diversion for what I'm talking about, but I'm curious. Their ISP is a lot better, too. What's their dry-wet situation going on? Also better? Also better. Alright, the algals are going to be great someday. Anyway, so if this was spinning, it would prefer not to spin this way, and it would prefer to spin end over end. And that is for reasons I don't know if I can really explain that well on stream, nor do I really know if I understand it all that well, but I just know that's how spinning works. So the problem here is that I think this craft would rather flip this way because that's its highest moment, and it doesn't really want to spin this way. And I don't really know. I can fix this. I mean, I could go another 5 degrees. Surely if it's spinning fast enough. It'll stay oriented. I don't know, man. I don't know how else to do this. Maybe I just stack 2 of them on top of each other rather than a double. And maybe we get a better head start. Rather than 4, we do 6. I mean, I can try that. I feel like it's gonna screw up the same way, though. I don't think this is gonna go any better. Wait. What is... Yeah. And maybe... You know what? I wonder if that's part of why this is working now. Wait a second. Is it because the nose cone was causing more drag than the actual parts inside? Is that... I guess that's possible. I should try it both ways at some point. I'm curious if that was the issue. Because I forgot I had made that change too. I changed it so the nose cone pops off at the same time. Is this 5, 2, 3, 1? Yeah, I'm a bit worried about this whole spinning situation. It's possible that just more spinning is the answer. I'm just worried they're so far off the center of mass that any what's the variances is just gonna blow out of proportion. Oh, that didn't work. That didn't work at all. It went the other way. Okay. So last time, did I not have it staged that way? I thought that's what I did have. Maybe not. Alright. Goodness. How many launches have we done? We're an hour and 24 minutes into this episode. I hope you guys are having fun. I'm having fun. But boy, there hasn't been a lot of progress in this episode in terms of the actual, like, RP-1 career. we've made a lot of progress on this design, but not so much the career. I'd love to get a successful simulation before the end of this episode. I just can't seem to make that happen. Alright, baby. Come on. This is the one. This is the launch, I believe. Stay. Stay. No, bad dog. You know what I just realized? I think it's the effing spin motors. I think those spin motors are screwing it up. I think those are actually adding a lot of drag. And I think if I put them down here where they'll do the exact same job... No, they won't. They're gonna create a bigger torque down here. And I'm gonna make this a three-way so it's consistent, but... I think 6 is enough that the variances should cancel out pretty well. But I think that was the issue. Because I just went from 4 to 6, and now I'm having issues with it flipping over again. That's why I think that. I guess it still might be something else, but I think that's what's going on here. We shall find out. Alright. 50th time's the charm, is what they say. Come on, baby. No flip, no flip, no flip. Oh, it still wants to flip. What did I do different? I swear, my last launch... What on earth changed? I didn't have RCS on. I had 4 things up there. The only thing we changed was rotating these even more and adding a spin motor, a couple spin motors, but they were up there. So I guess now I had 3 fins instead of 4 fins. Maybe that was enough of a difference to cancel out the spin motors. I don't know what's going on at this point. But we've got all sorts of a mess on our hands. The good news is we have enough delta V that this thing is convinced it can figure it out, so I should just let it go. But I will fix that in future simulations because we're wasting delta V. Goodness. All right, 100 seconds, 80 seconds. I'm gonna get a screenshot because I need something for the thumbnail. I don't know what's a good. Is that a better screenshot? Or is this a better screenshot? Not really sure. I'll take both. Alright. 50 seconds. 30. 20. Oh, I wasn't paying attention. Yeah, it just completely goes to the better moment. Alright, I'll be back. Okay, so we're back with another test. I've doubled my spin motors to 8 now. 4 fins again. It still flipped. I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know why it worked and now it's not. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna disengage the autopilot here because I wanna just see if a manual spin and decouple, what is gonna happen here? Yeah, see? Okay, that's what I thought. I was right. This is crazy. So this is the intermediate axis theorem. And there's literally, there's a video of it happening in Kerbal Space Program. There's a video of it happening in real life on the space station. But if something is spinning around the middle axis that it has a moment of inertia around, like, you know, each axis has its own moment of inertia. And if you're spinning around the biggest one, it's a stable spin. If you're spinning around the smallest one, it's also a stable spin. But if you're spinning around the middle one, then there's this weird chaotic behavior where it will flip over and then do a few spins and then flip over again and do a few spins. The best example is your cell phone. If you have a smartphone, if you've ever tried throwing it like up and catching it, you'll notice that it usually flips over and you catch it and it's like backwards, like it's in a different orientation. I'm doing it right now just to kind of test. But if you throw it where you like spin the phone like it's hard to describe without having something in front of me. But like if this was your cell phone, right here, you imagine that's a cell phone, you know, and you're holding it, like your hand's right here and you're holding it. Whoa, I just did something with my mouse. And then you know, you kind of chuck it up so that it's spinning, you know, this is just a pain in the butt. There we go. Okay, so you chuck your phone and you throw it up with spin like this. That's the intermediate axis. It'll flip over. If you throw your phone up in the air and you spin it like this, it won't be unstable. It'll just spin that way the whole time. And if you happen to throw it, you know, spinning it this way, it will also be stable. But the other one is the intermediate axis, and that one is an unstable spin. And that's what we've got going on here, even without the thrust from the engines coming into play. And that's why it was flipping over. I actually think the engine thrust is not the problem. Now, how do we fix it? Because what are the three axes even? So the three axes are this one, which is the one we wanted to spin around. This one, which is clearly the largest moment. And then I guess this one, which... this one must be the smallest moment. So we've got... so that is a bigger moment than this, apparently. Because that's clearly the largest moment. It has the most mass further away from the center of mass. That's my simple way to explain what a moment is. So that one has the biggest moment of inertia that way. The smallest must be this. Like if you imagine there's a dot here, there's not that much mass far away from that dot. But this one has, yeah, more than that, because these are totally... huh. It's really interesting. This is such an interesting physics problem. I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. I think it's so cool that in a video game, we're literally dealing with real life spin physics. You know, like in a video game where all we're doing is spinning to stabilize, to even out, you know, variable thrust, which is also realistic. Like, it's just, oh, this is so cool. I just love solving these real world problems. Well, I say I love solving them. I love having them. We haven't solved it yet. I actually don't know how to solve this problem. Because I'm thinking of a few solutions. Like, one solution would be... Also, what happens when something doesn't have an intermediate axis? I just realized, like, if you have something that's radially symmetrical, it has the spin axis, like, along the, you know, the, like most rockets, in fact, kind of only have two moments, right? They've got the main, they've got, like, the moment around this way, and then they have the end over end moment, but that's going to be the same from all angles. So there's not three distinct axes. So what if there is no intermediate axis? I don't know. Anyway, that's besides the point. The point right now is how do we fix this problem? And the answer is not immediately clear to me. Because we could do 4 of these. That would be overkill, I think. And then that would turn it into this radially symmetrical thing. And that would be the moment... I mean, we could try it. It might give us worse delta V. These aren't that expensive, relevant to the part of the, or the cost of the whole craft. 12,563. I mean, let's just try it. It technically increases our delta V, so it can't be the worst idea of all time. It's a little more expensive and a little less of an efficient launch, I think. But it's an idea. Yeah, I figured that. All right. So then we're gonna make these a little bit bigger. And then let's go ahead and simulate it. Oh boy. And for your sake, I will skip the launch and come back when we're up in the sky. All right, we're back. It actually stayed stable this time. I don't know if it was making the fins a little bigger, or again, we forgot to change the staging, so the top fairings popped off at the same time that this stage staged. So we'll see. Yeah, I'm not sure now which moment is bigger. Boy. It seems like that worked. We are really spinning. Oh my. Oh my goodness, as they say. Well, look at the numbers. Look at the numbers! We did it! And NASA cheered. Everybody's happy. Sorry, CASA. 66,143,000, and let's see if we can circularize this dang thing. This tiny little probe should be able to go all the way to the Apo. Where's the warp helper? You know, I should put that here as one of my buttons. Configure visible buttons. MacJeb warp helper. let's do a lead time of a couple minutes. Oh, it's spinning all right. Even this is 10 times slow motion. It's still spinning pretty fast. Okay, so we've got 35 seconds of burn time. So, I mean, I think I'm just gonna try for... Well, right now we're in the negative direction, which means it would add vertical speed. Because we're pointing away from that, because the engine's on the other side. So yeah, we do want to go a little bit further. Vertical speed's down to 7 meters a second. I can't tell if we're facing more into the vertical or more into the positive. So we'll just... I don't know. We'll just go to 15 seconds before and go for it. It's the worst thing that happens. 3, 2, 1, fire. Periapsis going up. Going up, going up, going up. What was it supposed to end at? 34? Was that right? Holy shnikes, that is the correct orbit. We did it! Wow. We can be done with the episode. We've set up the craft. Oh my gosh. Y'all, that was nuts. Eccentricity 0.766. Our planned eccentricity was what? Because we had, I don't have my sheet up, but yeah, okay. And this does have the science thingy, right? Oh, this is magnetic scan? Oh, this is magnetic scan. Sorry. Different thing. Wait, I'm confused. How can it be both of these? It shouldn't be both of these. Those both had different requirements. I'm like 99% sure those contracts had very different requirements. Chernikov requires a periapsis between 200 and 500 kilometers. And the magnetometry requires above 3 million. They both require a high eccentricity above 0.75. So what must have happened... This is interesting. While our engine was thrusting at the apoapsis, the final RCS engine, our periapsis was in this range, and I think it checked off the correct orbit, and then it only checks for a stable orbit. It does not check that this orbit is maintained for 45 days. That feels like a bug, almost, because I think the obvious desire is that it's checking for this orbit for 45 days. Maybe it can't constantly be checking the orbit? I don't know. Because that feels like you can cheese it, because we did not have a periapsis that was between these numbers. But we did for a moment, right? And because we did for a moment, it seems like it was happy with that. So that's kind of interesting. I'm not gonna cheese it. We are gonna do 2 separate vessels for this because that does feel like cheese. Feels like it's against the spirit of the contract. And I kind of already did 1 breaking of those rules. So we're gonna stick with this. This thing works. The grasshopper one is correct. Oh my goodness. Save that in the light satellite program. And we should try staging this after just to see what happens. But that'll be in the next episode. This has been a very long one already. So thank you guys for bearing with me. We have designed something to go into kind of deep space. I mean, deeper than we've ever been before. I mean, it's still close to Earth comparatively, but I'm excited for this. And we'll be launching this guy in the next episode, but for now, we'll have to wait for 1958 orbital rocketry before we even integrate it, and probably have to, yeah, do some extra propellants. So, thanks for watching, everybody. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I'll see you all in the next episode.